The last few months have been an absolute nightmare for fans of anime, and especially those that like to buy merchandise from Japan. Yes, the whole situation with the tariffs, and then the whole de minimis being removed, and thus everything's being tariffed, and thus all these companies are pretty much having to shut down any shipping method to the United States because we're not set up to take tariffs. For small package items coming into the United States, there's no system to take the tariffs, and thus everything just has to shut down. And we've been kind of sitting here patiently waiting. Hopefully the de minimis goes back in there, and then we can start buying stuff from Japan again. And amidst all this, HobbyLink Japan might be the next casualty in payment processor censorship. Now, we don't know for sure yet. They're being very tight-lipped about what is actually happening. But for those that missed it, here recently, I think most people kind of, were turned on to this because of a post that was made on their X account. But actually the first real kind of note of this was some posts on Reddit. Some people had actually sent them emails questioning what's going on, and they said, "Thank you for reaching out to us. Due to recent changes in our operations, we have made the decision to remove all adult-oriented items from our website. These products are no longer available for purchase. We understand this may be disappointing, and we sincerely apologize for any inconvenience it may cause. We appreciate your understandings and thank you for continued support. If you have any other questions, please feel free to contact us." Now, initially they're saying due to recent changes in our operations. That can mean so many things. That is like the most vague way to put it. Could be anything. This could be a new management, and the new management doesn't like the fact they have adult stuff. Maybe possibly they're not selling enough of it, and thus it doesn't seem like it's much of their, overall value, and they just don't like it in general. It could be a financial issue. It could be that there's too much risk. There could be regulations in other countries they're kind of trying to avoid here. Maybe they got slapped by somebody. Or, yes, as many people are kind of assuming, payment processors. Could this be another DL site situation? Could this be Visa once again going after another company to say you can't sell adult stuff on your site anymore? You can't use our Visa on your platform anymore. Are you going to keep selling it? Nope, probably not. So time to get rid of it. And I think that could possibly be more so in the idea because, as we find out later on, they did eventually decide to make an update on their X account. They made a post there saying, "Update, some of you may have noticed that the 18 plus section has gone missing from our website. Existing pre-orders from before the change will continue to be fulfilled. We hope to share a detailed update with you about the future of the genre of products as soon as possible." This tells me that they wiped everything off of their site that is 18 plus. They removed the entire section, but they're still fulfilling the existing pre-orders. So they're still going to do transactions for it. That's extremely sus. If payment processors are coming to them and saying, "Stop selling stuff on your site that's adult," why would they continue to fulfill the orders? Unless they told payment processors, "Okay, we'll take them off the site, but we are contractually obligated to continue to sell these things. We bought these things. We're putting orders in for them so that when they arrive, we can sell them to people. It would be disastrous for us." Okay, well, you can sell what's currently existing. Now, the other reason why I'm kind of curious if this is a payment processor situation is their follow-ups to people's comments. Because obviously people are really upset. There's a lot of people saying, "Screw you, you're bending a knee to the payment processors." People are saying, "Get Bitcoin on your stuff." Do Bitcoin or something like that. Do digital currency, all that kind of stuff. Do this, do that, do this, do that. They actually responded to people and said, "We're working to see what our options are. We'll announce when we have news, as we don't want customers to have to lose out on these products entirely." Entirely. What does this feel like? What does this feel like? We don't want to get rid of all of them. That's basically what that's telling me. We don't want to get rid of all of them. That feels like an itch.io situation. For those who don't remember, with itch.io, this development platform, people make their, games and they sell it on there and everything like that. With that platform, they essentially removed everything. And the people that were actually pushing for them to remove this adult content from their website, which was Collective Shout, they said specifically, all we told them is remove these things, and they removed a bunch of other stuff. itch.io was essentially trying to overcorrect because they were afraid of it. They overcorrected by removing everything because they were afraid of what would happen. This sounds similar to that, where they removed all of the adult content, the entire category out of there, because they're not sure what would be allowed by this whole system. They're afraid of what piece is in there. Which one of these specific items would be allowed or not allowed? So my assumption here, because they're not being clear exactly what has happened to them, is they might be looking at each individual item and going, which is too far? And that's just totally in that area that I absolutely hate, you know? That whole area where they have to decide what is too much. That door has been open, what is too much? Okay, by your standards, what is too much? And that's the big problem with this whole censorship, is what is too much. And you crack open that door, and everything has to go, because everything could be offensive to somebody, right? But yeah, they've been kind of, following up to people that are all upset about this whole situation. And it's interesting that with some people, they're saying, is it pressure from payment processors? They're not saying no. They're saying we have plans to make products available again. But they won't say. They won't say that it's not payment processors. That kind of feels like a confirmation to me. And it's curious as to why they're not saying that it's payment processors. Unless they're just, maybe they have somebody that they like with the payment processing company. Maybe they're trying to be buddy-buddy with them and they're just not trying to ruffle feathers. Because as we've seen with pretty much all of these companies, especially all the Japanese companies that have been hit by this whole payment processor crap, they're all very clear. It's the payment processors. We have to remove this from our platform. We have to remove Visa. We have to remove MasterCard. We have to remove this because of MasterCard. We have to remove this because of Visa. And even itch.io and with Steam and with everybody else, they're all very clear it's the payment processors. There's nothing keeping them from saying anything because they're so big. It's not like they're going to upset them. This is what's happening. We're very clear about it. So it's very curious. It's very curious why they're not saying specifically what it is. And again, it could just be specifically somebody's new at the company that's heading the company and they don't like this content in there. Or maybe they just don't like how far it goes. And again, they're trying to navigate that. They're trying to figure out what is allowed, not allowed. Now, the other interesting thing is why are they only letting people know through emails in response and a single post on their X account? If you go to their actual website, there's no post here. None of the updates. The last update they have is the fact that they are now opening up DHL again for shipment to US. Finally being able to have some sort of system to be able to ship to America again, thankfully. That's their last update on their actual website. Where's the updates about, you take an entire category off your website? It's very interesting. But anyways, that kind of just leaves us in the air about what exactly is happening. I think in the end, it still sucks because, again, for those that want more adult-related figurines and content from this website, it's gone. And that's going to pretty much limit your options for where you have to go. I've never used HobbyLink personally, but it still sucks. It still sucks as not having that option there for that content. So anyways, just want to give people an update here, give you my perspective on what's going on. Hopefully, eventually, they can give us an actual update exactly what's going on. But until then, that's the news. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button down below. If you like this content and want to support town more, become a member of the channel. Until next time, take care.